Imagine waking up one morning, swinging your legs out of bed, and realizing the simple act of standing feels like climbing a mountain. The knees that once carried you through walks in the park, dances at weddings, or playful moments with your grandchildren now ache with every step. For many people over 50, this quiet thief called cartilage loss sneaks in slowly, stealing comfort, mobility, and sometimes even joy. But here's the surprising truth. Your body holds an incredible power to repair itself when given the right tools. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Channel Wellness Blueprint Over 50. Today, I want to share with you three natural minerals that don't just ease the pain, but can actually help your knees rebuild strength from the inside out. If you've been searching for hope, for a way to move freely again, stay with me. This may change everything. When I think of copper, I often remember a patient of mine named Helen. She was 67, a retired teacher who loved tending her garden. Over the years, her knees began to betray her. Swelling, stiffness, that dull ache that made kneeling among her roses a painful chore. She came to me one spring, frustrated because even the joy of planting flowers had become too difficult. What struck me most was not the pain in her voice, but the quiet fear. What if I can't do the things I love anymore? That fear is what so many feel when cartilage begins to wear down. But here's where copper comes in, quietly powerful, like the spark plug that ignites the whole engine of repair in the body. Cartilage, that smooth cushion inside your knees, is made mostly of a protein called collagen. Without collagen, cartilage becomes like a worn-out sponge, thin, fragile, unable to handle pressure. Copper is one of the unsung heroes that fuels collagen production. Think of it as the foreman on a construction site, calling the shots, making sure the bricks of collagen are laid properly so the walls of cartilage can be rebuilt strong and flexible. Without copper, the workers, your body's repair enzymes, slow down, leaving the job half finished. That's why even if you eat well or take other supplements, if copper is missing, your cartilage struggles to recover. Now, science backs this up. A study published in the Journal of Trace Elements in Medicine and Biology highlighted copper's role in enzymes that cross-link collagen fibers. Cross-linking is like weaving threads into a sturdy fabric. Without it, collagen remains weak and easily torn. With copper, however, the fibers knit tightly, giving cartilage the resilience to handle bending, climbing, kneeling, the movements that make up everyday life. But copper doesn't stop at collagen. It also has an anti-inflammatory effect, calming the swelling and irritation that often make knee pain unbearable. Inflammation is like a fire raging inside your joints, burning away comfort and mobility. Copper helps douse those flames, protecting the cartilage from further harm while giving your body the breathing room to repair. For Helen, this was the breakthrough. As we adjusted her diet to include copper-rich foods, her knees began to feel less stiff, and within months, she was back in her garden, kneeling comfortably in the soil again. The beauty of copper is that it's naturally available in everyday foods. Nuts like cashews and sunflower seeds carry generous amounts, as do whole grains. Shellfish, especially crab, provide a potent source, and even dark chocolate, yes, that little square of indulgence, delivers copper that feeds your joints. Dark leafy greens like spinach also carry it, a reminder that the simplest foods often hold the most healing. I often tell my patients, every handful of seeds, every spoon of greens is like depositing a coin into your cartilage bank account. Over time, those deposits add up to stronger, healthier knees. Now, I know some people wonder if supplements are the easier route. They can be, but copper is a mineral where balance is everything. Too little, and healing stalls. Too much, and it can actually cause harm, upsetting the delicate mineral harmony inside your body. That's why I encourage patients to start with food first. Supplements may play a role, but they should be guided by a professional who understands your unique needs. What excites me most about copper is its teamwork with other minerals. Zinc and manganese, which we'll explore shortly, partner beautifully with copper, each playing their part in the orchestra of cartilage repair. But copper is often the one that cues the music, striking the first note that brings healing into rhythm. When patients increase their copper intake, they often describe something remarkable. Not just less pain, but a feeling of lightness, as though the weight pressing on their knees is lifted. That relief is not imagined. It's the direct result of inflammation easing and collagen beginning to rebuild. For Helen, the proof wasn't in numbers on a chart, but in her laughter as she returned to her garden. She told me one afternoon, "Dr. Bryan, I planted tulips this week without wincing. Do you know how good that feels?" And I did know, because I've seen countless others rediscover their freedom through small, consistent changes. Copper may be a trace mineral, but its impact on cartilage repair is anything but small. So if you find yourself hesitating at the stairs or groaning when you rise from a chair, remember this: your body has the tools to heal. Copper is one of those tools. Whether sprinkled in seeds on a salad, stirred through whole grains at dinner, or savored in a piece of dark chocolate, each bite is a step toward stronger knees. Healing doesn't happen overnight, but with patience and nourishment, your cartilage can regain its strength. And with that strength comes the return of something priceless: the ability to move without fear, without pain, and with joy. Several years ago, I met a gentleman named Robert, a 72-year-old retired carpenter. His hands were strong from decades of work, but his knees told another story. Years of climbing ladders, crouching to fit cabinets, and carrying heavy planks had left his joints stiff and unreliable. By the time he came to see me, even walking to the mailbox felt like an uphill battle. He asked me a question I'll never forget. "Doc, how can a man build houses all his life, but not keep the foundation of his own body steady?" The answer, as I gently explained, lies in the building blocks of cartilage. And that's where manganese quietly shines. Think of cartilage like the shock absorbers of a car. Every step you take, every time you bend or climb stairs, your knees absorb that force. Cartilage needs to be strong yet flexible, able to cushion and bounce back. This resilience comes from special molecules called proteoglycans and glycosaminoglycans. They sound complex, but picture them as the gel padding inside a shoe sole, giving you spring and protection with each step. Without enough manganese, your body struggles to make these molecules. The padding wears thin, and every movement begins to feel like bone grinding on bone. Manganese acts like the hidden architect behind this cushioning gel. It activates enzymes, the tiny workers inside your body, that assemble the parts of proteoglycans. Without manganese, those workers sit idle, tools in hand but no orders to build. With manganese, construction begins, and the cartilage regains its bounce. When Robert finally understood this, his eyes lit up. "So, Doc, you're telling me I've been short on construction material?" I smiled and said, "Exactly. You built homes with wood and nails. Your knees need manganese to build their own home." The scientific community has long acknowledged this. Research in the journal Osteoarthritis and Cartilage has highlighted how manganese deficiency impairs cartilage synthesis, increasing the risk of joint degeneration. In simpler words, without manganese, your joints lose their natural shock absorbers, leaving them vulnerable to pain and stiffness. But when you restore manganese, you're essentially reinflating the cushion, giving your knees back their protection. One of the most remarkable things I've seen is how people feel more stable after nourishing their bodies with manganese. Patients often describe it as a sense of confidence returning to their steps. That hesitant shuffle, born from fear of pain, transforms into a steadier, more natural walk. Robert experienced this within months. He began adding spinach and kale to his breakfast, swapped white rice for brown, and enjoyed a handful of almonds each afternoon. Slowly, his knees felt less like rusty hinges and more like steady supports again. One day, he surprised his granddaughter by chasing her across the yard. He told me later, with tears in his eyes, "Doc, I felt like myself again." The beauty of manganese is how accessible it is in everyday foods. Leafy greens like kale, nuts such as pecans, seeds like pumpkin and sesame, whole grains like oats, and even sweet fruits like pineapple all deliver generous amounts. I encourage patients to think of meals as opportunities to build cartilage, bite by bite. A spinach salad sprinkled with pumpkin seeds isn't just food, it's a repair kit for your joints. A bowl of oatmeal with nuts isn't breakfast, it's scaffolding for stronger knees. Of course, like copper, manganese works best in balance. Too much from supplements can be harmful, especially for older adults whose bodies process minerals more slowly. That's why food is the safest, most effective source. Your body knows how to handle nutrients wrapped in nature's package. And when manganese teams up with copper and zinc, the effect multiplies. Copper sparks collagen production, zinc repairs tissue and reduces oxidative stress, and manganese fortifies the cushion that holds it all together. It's like having an entire crew, each worker with a role, each one essential. I've seen this synergy firsthand. Patients who once feared knee replacement surgery found themselves regaining mobility simply by restoring these minerals. It's not a miracle pill, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it is a steady climb back toward freedom. Every nut, every leafy green, every whole grain becomes a step up that mountain. For Robert, the moment of triumph wasn't dramatic. It wasn't running a marathon or climbing a mountain. It was sitting comfortably at his granddaughter's school play, standing to applaud without wincing, and walking out of the auditorium without leaning on his cane. Sometimes healing shows up not in grand gestures, but in small freedoms regained. That's the gift of manganese. It helps restore the resilience of your knees. The very cushion that lets you stand tall, walk steady, and live without the constant whisper of pain. And once you feel that stability return, you realize something powerful. Age may change the body, but it does not take away your ability to rebuild. With manganese, you're not just cushioning your joints, you're cushioning your future, giving yourself the freedom to keep moving forward with strength and confidence. If copper is the spark and manganese is the cushion, then zinc is the body's repairman, the one who rushes to the site of damage, tools in hand, patching up the cracks so everything can keep working. I remember a woman named Maria, 69 years old, who came to me with persistent knee pain after years of working as a nurse. She told me, "Dr. Brian, I've taken care of others all my life, but now I can't even walk around the block without aching." Her frustration was palpable, but when we looked closely at her diet, it became clear. She was running short on zinc, the very mineral her body needed to rebuild. Cartilage damage is like a tear in a fabric. Without the right materials, that tear frays wider and wider. Zinc provides the thread and needle to stitch it back together. On a microscopic level, zinc is vital for cell growth and tissue repair. When your cartilage cells are injured, zinc signals them to multiply, repair, and fill in the gaps. Without enough zinc, that process crawls along like a construction crew missing their tools. With zinc, the repairs happen more efficiently, meaning less pain and quicker recovery. But zinc isn't just about patching holes, it's also one of the body's most powerful antioxidants. Think of oxidative stress as rust on metal. It weakens, breaks down, and destroys over time. In your knees, oxidative stress erodes cartilage, leaving it brittle and inflamed. Zinc acts like a protective coating, shielding the cartilage from these rusting forces. When the rust slows, your knees get a chance to heal instead of constantly being attacked. For Maria, this protection was crucial. Once we boosted her zinc intake, the endless cycle of inflammation began to calm, giving her joints a chance to breathe. Science supports this. Studies in journals like Biological Trace Element Research show that zinc deficiency is closely linked to delayed wound healing and increased inflammation. While many people think of zinc as only an immune booster, its role in tissue repair and antioxidant defense makes it just as critical for joint health. When you nourish your body with zinc, you're not only protecting yourself from colds, you're protecting your knees from the silent erosion of cartilage loss. Another fascinating role of zinc is its ability to regulate the immune response. Many people don't realize that inflammation, especially chronic inflammation, is often the result of an immune system in overdrive. Zinc helps bring balance, telling the immune system, calm down, repair, don't attack. When that balance is restored, swelling decreases, stiffness eases, and movement becomes more fluid. Patients often tell me it feels like their joints unlocked, allowing them to walk more freely. So where does zinc come from? Some of the richest sources are oysters, which provide more zinc per serving than almost any other food. But for everyday diets, beef, chicken, and turkey offer solid amounts. For those who prefer plant-based options, legumes like chickpeas, lentils, and beans are excellent, as are seeds like pumpkin and cashews. Whole grains and dairy also contribute. The challenge is that plant-based zinc isn't absorbed as efficiently as animal-based zinc, so vegetarians and vegans may need to be extra mindful, choosing fortified foods or, in some cases, supplements. But here's the key: balance. Too much zinc can interfere with copper absorption, creating a deficiency in the very mineral we first discussed. That's why I caution against high-dose supplements without guidance. Your body needs harmony between these minerals, not a tug of war. A balanced diet, rich in variety, usually provides all the zinc most people need. Maria found this out firsthand. She began sprinkling pumpkin seeds on her salads, added lentil soup to her weekly meals, and enjoyed lean turkey more often. Within 3 months, her knee pain shifted from a constant dull ache to occasional soreness. One day she came into my office smiling wide. "Dr. Bryan," she said, "I just walked 2 miles with my friend and I didn't stop once." That's the power of zinc. Not an overnight cure, but a steady, reliable partner in healing. I often tell my patients that zinc is like giving your knees a team of repairmen who work tirelessly, fixing what's torn, protecting what's fragile, and calming what's inflamed. Over time, that translates to more comfort, better mobility, and the confidence to keep moving. Imagine being able to climb stairs without hesitation, walk your dog without limping, or play with your grandchildren without the constant reminder of pain. Zinc helps make those moments possible. When combined with copper and manganese, zinc completes the trio. Copper sparks collagen production, manganese cushions with proteoglycans, and zinc repairs, protects, and balances. Together, they form a natural foundation for stronger, healthier knees. For those of us over 50, that foundation is not just about movement, it's about freedom. The freedom to live without the nagging fear of pain, the freedom to enjoy simple pleasures like gardening, traveling, or dancing. For Maria, the journey was not about chasing youth, but reclaiming independence. That's what I want for you too. Zinc may be a trace mineral, but its impact is profound. With every handful of seeds, every serving of beans, every thoughtful choice, you're not just feeding your body, you're healing it. You're giving your knees the chance to repair, to recover, and to carry you forward into the life you deserve. So what have we discovered together today? Copper, manganese, and zinc, three humble minerals that quietly rebuild, protect, and restore the knees that carry us through life. Copper sparks collagen, manganese cushions with elasticity, and zinc repairs and shields against damage. Healing knee cartilage isn't about miracles. It's about consistency, balance, and trust in nature's pharmacy. Every small food choice is a step toward comfort, strength, and freedom. I'm Dr. Bryan, and I encourage you to honor your knees, nurture them daily, and keep moving forward with hope. Like, subscribe, and share your journey. We're in this together.